Today is January 24th, and I have just received what I would call my most anticipated piece of gear ever. From Shure, I have in my hot little hands the Shure Axient digital transmitter, or digital PSMs, and we're going to get to go through it together. Here's what we'll do. We'll look at these things and put our little hands on it, and we might not get every question answered today. We're not going to, I promise, but we're going to probably generate questions, but I want to give you the most hands-on experience and look at this device that I can, because I've been waiting for it, and I bet you have too. So let's go look at it. Sometimes we get fancy, sometimes we get basic. And for this physical walk around, it is pretty basic. I have the device here on a thing that I can turn. I was surprised by the RF switch here in the front panel. I must have missed that in any of the marketing materials. The rack ears are thicker than any other device in my rack. They really are beefing that up. And then here in the side, there are some pretty aggressive cooling fans, and these are ejecting air out the side towards the back. And none of my other Shure devices really cool that way. I thought it was pretty interesting. Did not expect that. It looks just like other Shure devices that have the loop in and out, or the loop power out. It came with a locking IEC cable and the short jumper cable, as you would expect. The ever flexible 4 network outputs, or network jacks. And then a very straightforward list of inputs, TRS and XLR. You can choose whether they're analog or AES, 3 for stereo pairs. And then the antenna inputs or outputs here, I guess, A, B, C, D feels very Axient in that. And there are indicator lights about which one is being used. The physical depth is the same as other Shure Axient items that I have in my rack. And so this is kind of the once around. Why don't we rack it up and plug it in? Okay, so I do want to turn these on at the same time to let you see how they boot. And spectrum analyzer on the bottom. Well, you can read the part number. And then our good guy here on the top. I feel like these two items are much more contemporaries to each other than the other devices. The finish is different, but these two are more similar. And there's just some things that make me really feel like this is the direction that Axient is going to go with fit and finish. The screens obviously are color, full color, makes a lot of sense with this amount of information. The receiver screens are just more simple. And I don't know, I think if they probably re-released the Axient receiver, this might all be digital on a screen instead of individual LEDs. I don't know, just sensing a direction. But okay, I have factory reset this device. And so I've gone through it and I know it a little bit, but I have factory reset it. So this is exactly how you would receive it. Let's look through some stuff. Main menu. First page is headphones, 4 channels, carrier settings, and device config. I guess we'll start at the top. We have the RF, audio, ID, network, locks, fans, display. This is pretty similar to the AD600. Feels like it is a contemporary once again. Device RF. we're going to be able to set the spectrum manager. So let's go in there and choose it. I believe that the first thing we were going to want to do is go down here to network configuration and change this to switched. And we're back up. Okay, so after that reboot, we should see more things. Device RF, Spectrum Manager, none. We can choose this AD600 now because they are on the same network. And it says that it's online, so it sees its partner. We can encrypt. This is a neat way to see what this device is capable of. I'm going to roll through these. I am not going to explain them, but I think that they make a ton of sense for the different things that the unit is capable of. So you can put it all in FM and use your PSM receivers. Narrowband for individual carriers, or wideband one channel. And we're going to go ahead and just use, I don't know, wideband special no diversity. I think that'll show us the most about it. And we're back up. So this shows that we have one carrier. These channels don't have carriers on them. They're sub-channel, 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 sub-channel. And so let's get back into these menus. I can change the frequency here according to my needs. This is a report of the combined output. And we can import spectrum scans here. Oh, sorry, we should have finished this one. Device RF. We're going to change that to 6. And now we can go to device audio. The rear panel inputs, this is great. It just shows you what they're for. I'm not sure why this screen shows. It's just informational. I guess we could change from lifted or grounded here. That's the only choice on this page. We can see our Dante names. And we can cruise to the device lock or domain manager. We can see the device ID, which we'll see in Wireless Workbench. And then the all-important networking things that you are used to seeing out of digital Axient. So we can go back in here into this, and we can see in one of the channels, there's gain, stereo. This is actually where we changed to Dante or rear panel. We're going to go ahead and leave that on, put that on Dante. These are not changeable. The meter overload hold. I'm going to go ahead and put this tone generator on. And you can see that it indicates the tone on the front. We can name the channel. We can see the receivers that are synced. We can choose what we send in a sync. And then we can change the tiles to see what receiver shows. This would say what tile is shown in there. In some ways, it shows 8 receivers. I guess this is referring to the receiver, not the transmitter. And then, of course, we have the headphone monitor. What do you want to monitor? And I believe you can get to that. Yep, you can get to that with a press here. So that is the extent of the menus on the front panel. Now let's go ahead and turn the RF on. It's set for 470, 850. So it'll be, might smash that one right there. We're going to go and get just a clear. We're going to go to 490. We're going to put it on 490, 100 here so that it's right on the place that's outlined in the spectrum analyzer. And let's kick it on. Look at that nice wide wave come up there. Pretty interesting. It is definitely a wider carrier, that's for sure. Let's look at it. 470 or 490, 100. Zoom. So look how wide that guy is compared to his neighbor over here. I mean, makes sense. It's a wideband, but he's nice and fun, right? That's pretty cool. Guess I only have one good antenna on the back of this rack, but there it is. 6 megahertz carrier. One more thing I thought to do is to change my lavalier that I'm wearing. I do this on actually on channel 1. We're going to change this frequency to, I don't know, 489, 500 and see what it does. How close can we stack these things? So we're going to do this live. 489, 500. And there it is. And if you look, my quality is still just right there. Let's tune it up a little bit. Let's see. Let's go 625. Look at that. I know this isn't an exhaustive test, but that is still full quality on an Axient microphone next to that carrier. That's pretty neat. That is some stacking right there. So that's pretty much it for the physical attributes of the device in the front panel. As we know, the networked ability of the Axient and the controllability from single pane of glass is the magic. So the next things we'll do is look at getting the device updated and what's required for that, wireless Workbench controls live, and then actually Dante controller is interesting as well. So hang around for that. Well, that was fun. Now we're back to the software side of things, and we're going to look at first, how do you contact this device? I do want to say, one, I am not a Shure expert. I've never even touched a PSM transmitter or a PSM receiver. I come from the broadcast side of things, and Shure is absolutely a broadcast standard now, but if you look over my shoulder, those ears transmitters are not Shure. I've been waiting for this Shure product to release so that I can move on to some Shure ears and replace my Electrosonics ears. So if you hear me say something strange, it's because I'm new to this world of Shure. The other thing is, I don't intend to instruct you for everything in this video. I'm just showing you what I know as of today, one day, kind of using the device. And maybe 3, I don't have any ears packs yet. So maybe we'll do a release for that when I get some ears packs in my hand. I am excited about those. Maybe the most exciting thing is that I can use my ADX1 batteries in my PSMs. So Finally, a battery that goes in 2 different places. Thank you, Shure. All right, so I did find that we need to update everything. And the first thing we need to update is the updater. Shure Utility Updater or Update Utility is how you're going to do this. And I had to update it from the website, re-download it as of January 23rd. I don't remember if Update Utility has an update button, but I know that Wireless Workbench update button did not work. I'm not sure about major and minor releases. That's not my thing, but I did have to go to the website, see the or download a new version, and it was a newer version of Wireless Workbench. And it was a newer version on the website of the Update Utility as well. So update your Update Utility before you start saying there are no firmware updates to be applied. They're out there. You just need to have this software version. And then the same thing for Wireless Workbench. You want to re-download Wireless Workbench 7.4. I don't remember what the previous version was. Maybe it was 7.4.0.81. I don't know. But make sure you're at the minimum of these softwares. I did just verify that these softwares are what I'm using today. So update your stuff, and then I'll meet you in Wireless Workbench. This is the, let's do this. This is the version number that we're using, 74087, and this is not going to work if you're not right here. So go ahead and stop and update that Wireless Workbench. So in the detected items, here is my old Lectrosonics, which obviously I cannot control from Wireless Workbench, but they're there because of the coordination, right? But these devices are my first Wireless Workbench controllable ears, and I'm excited. So they're tunable just like everything else here. They can be added to the AD-PSM. It's identified in here. They're able to be added to the channel coordination. They can be calculated and dropped in. It is actually only looking for one frequency because my device is set to wideband. That's so neat. And then over here in the monitor side, we can actually see they just populate in the channel strips exactly like you expect them to. So Wireless Workbench, it just plugs right in like you expect it to, okay? And then one more interesting thing that I want to go into next is Dante Controller. A little bit of an Easter egg there, and we'll show you when, well, let's see. Dante Controller. This is default. So let's go to our devices here and see. It comes up as an ADTQ. I would rename that to fit what you can tell I like to name my stuff as, but we double click in it. And if you see, it only has receivers in the Dante world, but there are 32 of them. So don't know what Shure has planned for that, but it is pretty exciting. So let's go ahead and patch something. I don't know. I have my DM3 over here, and I believe that the monitor 13 and 14. So if we start dropping, well, that's enough for our example. And now if we go back to Wireless Workbench, all right, so in Wireless Workbench, we can change the audio source to be, where is this? Input select, Dante. Excuse me while I struggle a little bit. Where do they come from 2 and 3. That'll do it. We go here to this, it's outputs 2 and 3. What about now if we go to Wireless Workbench? Do we see the meters bumping? We see the meters bumping with my headphone mix. So we have now connected the Dante world. And as I said before, no receivers. So that's the end of this tutorial, but I hope you have found this enjoyable and eye-opening, and hopefully you have some questions. Let's do some discussing. All right. See you soon.